Jai Shri Gurudev. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Ravian, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Management, BGSIMS, Chikbalapur. Hello everyone, dear students. In the subject risk management, in the previous that is which is meant for second semester MCOM students of Bangalore North University and Bangalore University. In the previous video, I have explained the types of risk. In this video, I am going to explain various means of managing the risk or various means of handling the risk. So how we can manage the risk and how we can handle the risk. So what and all the methodologies we have to manage the risk. Okay, so that's what I'm going to explain in this video. Yes. So before step into the managing ways or various means of managing risk, we should understand what is risk. So the risk is possibility of loss or probability of loss, injury or any other financial loss. Okay, so such kind of probability of loss or possibility of damage or possibility of injury, how we can manage, how we can mitigate that kind of risk or loss. So that's what in this video. So here there are some methods in which we can mitigate the risk and we can avoid the risk. First method is risk avoidance, which means elimination of risk, and secondly risk reduction, which means mitigating the risk, and third one is a risk transfer, which means insuring against the risk, and fourth one is risk retention, retaining the risk or accepting the possibility of loss or accepting the risk, and lastly non-insurance transfer. So these are the 5 ways or various means of managing or handling the risk. So let me explain one by one. So first one is risk avoidance. So here risk avoidance is completely avoiding the activity that poses a potential risk. So here the person is not going to participate in activity which will going to incur loss or in which that person is going to incur a loss. That activity possess a potential risk. So that person is going to completely avoid that activity. So that is risk avoidance. So in this risk avoidance, so completely avoiding the task or completely avoiding the any activity in which there is a potential risk. ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಆ ಟಾಸ್ಕನ್ನೇ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಿರ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡೋದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡೆನ್ಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಮೆಥಡ್ for mitigating risk by not participating in activities that may incur injury, loss or damage. So the activities which are risk involved, in which the risk is involved, so in order to mitigate or in order to reduce or in order to avoid the risk, the person or any industry or any organization is going to stop participating in that activities. So it is one method to mitigate the risk involved in activities. So by not participating in activities, so that activity may leads to an injury, that activity may leads to a loss, or that activity may leads to a damage. So that activities fully avoided to mitigate the risk. And by avoiding that risk, we are also avoiding a possibility of gain. This is very important. See, so by avoiding that risk, what we are doing, so by avoiding that risk, we are mitigating the possibility of gain also. So we are mitigating, which means we are reducing. So we are reducing the possibility of the gain. We are missing the income also. By avoiding that risk, we are also avoiding the possibility of gain. So how we are reducing, or how we are avoiding the possibility of gain, in the sense, in all the activities there is a risk. If you want to get a gain, if you want to earn a profit, if you want to make a profit on activity, definitely you should face certain risk involved in that activity. So if you avoid that risk, definitely it is nothing but you are going to avoid the profit which will going to happen in that. And so here, because gain or profit will arise after taking a risk. I already explained you, gain or any income or any profit will arise only if you take a risk. If you don't take risk, definitely no profit. Okay, so that is the case. Example, investors can avoid the risk of loss in stock market by not buying the stocks. So here investor is not going to buy the stock in the market, is going to stop buying the stocks in the stock exchange, stock market. Stock market ಅಲ್ಲಿ investor ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, is going to avoid, is going to stop buying the stocks, shares, debentures, or is going to stop his investments in the stock market. So by stopping the investment, that investor may mitigate his risk entirely, and there is no profit also. If you won't invest in the market, you won't get any profit in the stock market. And next example, divorce can be avoided by not marrying. Very funny. If you don't get married, definitely there is no question of divorce. So divorce can be avoided by not marrying. So and one more best example for the current situation, no corona, if you know safely avoiding not going outside, if you stay home, definitely no corona. So that is what risk avoidance. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಕರೋನಾ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ, ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡದಿರಾ ನಾವು ರಿಸ್ಕನ್ನು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡೆನ್ಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಟು ಮಿಟಿಗೇಟ್ ದ ರಿಸ್ಕ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, and one more example, stopping smoking cigarette. So if you stop smoking a cigarette, definitely the health loss and financial loss will be avoided. Definitely you will save money. Definitely you can save your life. You can save the money as well as you can safeguard your health also. So that is the case. That is a best example for risk avoidance. And next, second method to avoid the risk is risk reduction. Risk reduction is reducing the possibility of loss. So here risk reduction is reducing the possibility. You are going to reduce the possibility of happening a risk. ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಬೈ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿಕಾಷನರಿ ಮೆಷರ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲಾಸ್. ಸೊ ಬೈ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಪ್ರಿಕಾಷನರಿ ಮೆಷರ್ಸ್ in the sense, so you should have a plan. You should make a plan to reduce and mitigate the loss or risk. So that is what precautionary measures. So now, so precautionary measures, ಈಗ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲು, ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೇ ಹೋಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಸಮ್ ಪ್ರಿಕಾಷನರಿ ಮೆಷರ್ಸ್ ಸಚ್ ಆಸ್ ವೇರಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಮಾಸ್ಕ್ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಯಾನಿಟೈಸರ್ಸ್ periodically, washing your hands. So this is a precautionary measures to avoid COVID-19 or coronavirus. So this is how you can mitigate the risk, or you can reduce the possibility of loss. Example, installing a security alarms, we can reduce the possibility of theft. I think you might have know, in each and every bank there will be a alarm. So at the time of night or night time, if anyone comes to, a robber, if anyone comes to our bank without your knowing, so automatically that bell will rings, alarm will rings, and that will notify. Okay, so this is what precautionary measures to stop the possibility of theft. And wearing seat belts or helmets, we can reduce the possibility of accidents. See, so how important it is wearing a seat belts and helmets. See, by wearing these seat belts and helmets, we can reduce the possibility of accidents. ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೋ ಒಂದು ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಹೆಲ್ಮೆಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿದ್ದರೂ ಸಾಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಸತ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಮುಖ ಆದರೂ ಕಾಣಿಸೋ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೀಟ್ ಬೆಲ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಲಾಸ್, ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಲಾಸು ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ರೀಸನ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವೇರ್ ಹೆಲ್ಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ seat belts to reduce the possibility of loss. And third one is risk transfer. So transferring the risk from one person to another, this is the best way of avoiding the risk or reducing the risk or mitigation of risk. So by transferring, simply you can transfer your risk to another person who are willing to accept that risk. ಯಾರು ನಿನ್ನ ರಿಸ್ಕನ್ನು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇದೆಯೋ, ಅಥವಾ ಸೊ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ವಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಟು accept your risk, ready to take the risk, you can transfer to them. So the best example, insurance policies are another methods to manage the risk. See, the risk transfer is also one kind to avoid the risk, to manage the risk. It is one means to manage the risk. It is the one way to handling the risk in a better way. Insurance policies are there to manage your risk in a better way. Example, risk of loss of any stock or loss of any finance or any asset. That risk of loss you can transfer to your insurance company. By taking insurance policy, the risk of loss can be transferred from insured person to insurance company. See, by taking insurance policies, health insurance policies, life insurance policies, or fire insurance policies, or any other general insurance policies, by taking that insurance policies, you can somehow transfer your risk of loss to another person, that is insurance company. ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಗುವಂಥ ನಷ್ಟವನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ, ನಾಟ್ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ, ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಫುಲ್ risk of loss to another person. Just a partial risk of loss you can transfer. Even the insurance company won't accept full risk ಅನ್ನು ಅವರು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ partially they can accept your risk by taking a premium. They won't simply accept your risk. By taking a premium amount, they'll accept a risk of loss. Okay, so example, by taking a fire insurance policy, the house owner can transfer the risk of loss by fire to insurance company. Insurance policy alni, so fire insurance, by taking that fire insurance policy, what you can mitigate, you can mitigate the risk of loss which will going to happen by fire. So you can save your house. If your house is burned by fire or fire accident, definitely you'll get amount. That is what compensation, the compensation amount you'll get. So this is what a method to avoid the risk. And use of health insurance schemes also is a better way to transfer the risk. And fourth methodology is risk retention. Risk retention involves accepting the risk When the risk is not avoided, reduced or transferred, then it is retained. Risk retention means, in the case if you are not able to avoid the risk, in the case if you are not able to reduce the risk and transfer the risk to other person, just you have to accept that risk and you can retain the risk. Okay, by accepting that risk you should retain the risk. ನೀನು ರಿಸ್ಕನ್ನು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ, ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ವೇ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ದ ರಿಸ್ಕ್? ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಟೈನ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೀನು ಅದನ್ನು ರಿಟೆನ್ಷನನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ರಿಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋನ್. ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋನ್. ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಸಿ ಇನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಸರ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ the business organization or individuals will retain the risk, in the sense, in the time where the risk is unknown. Risk is unknown. If the risk is unknown, if you are not able to find out what the exact risk is, then definitely you have to retain that risk and you have to accept that risk. Accept ಮಾಡಲೇ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. Example, smoking cigarette is considered a form of risk retention since many people smoke without knowing the many risk of diseases. ನಮಗೆ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಿಗರೇಟ್ ಕುಡಿಲೇಬೇಕು, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ನೀನು ಸಿಗರೇಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆದರೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆವಾಗೇನು ಮಾಡೋದು? ಯು ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ರಿಟೈನ್ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಮೋಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಗರೆಟ್. ಸಂಹೌ ನಿನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ನನಗಿಂಥದ್ದೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಸತ್ತೋಗ್ತೀನೋ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೋ, ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೈಟ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದ ರಿಸ್ಕ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ಸತ್ತರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಸಿಗರೇಟ್ ಕುಡಿತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್. And next, last one is non-insurance transfers. Non-insurance transfers. So non-insurance transfer in the sense, you don't have any transferring methodology. You don't want to transfer your risk to another person, that is insurance company. So here there is a method to avoid the risk, that is non-insurance transfers. Apart from those 4 parts, you have another method to avoid the risk. One is, in this non-insurance transfers, one is contract. A common way of transfer risk by contract. By purchasing the warranty extensions, the risk of manufacturing defects transferred from customers to manufacturers. I think you might have known the warranty and guarantee schemes. If you purchase a product, manufacturer will give you manufacturer warranty for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, like that. That means they are taking the risk, they are accepting the risk which will going to happen for the product. ಅವರು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಾಸನ್ನು ಅವರು ಸಂಭವ ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಏನಾದರೂ ರಿಪೇರಿ ಬಂತು, ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ದ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಟು ಯು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಗೇವ್ 10 years warranty, manufacturer warranty. So if anything happen, if your laptop comes a repair, then definitely they'll give a assistance that they'll going to repair your laptop. So that is what the risk acceptance. So here non-insurance transfer, that is. And next, hedging. So hedging means reducing the risk, avoiding the risk by not transferring any risk to any other person. Hedging, okay, it is the best way to avoid the risk. And diversification of investments. Diversification, you know that there is a risk in the activity, though you are going to participate in that activity, but you are doing, or you are diversifying your risk of loss which is involved in that activity. Instead of investing all funds in one security, invest in different securities. Example, if you invest in a company which will leads to a profit, you'll get a profit. So definitely you don't know whether that company leads profit or not. So instead of investing in one particular company or a single company, invest in many companies, 2 to 3 companies or 4 to 5 companies. That maybe leads to a loss or that maybe leads to a profit. Somehow you can manage the risk, right? So instead of investing in all funds, so you can go for a particular investment. And this is the ways how you can manage the risk involved in activities. Hope you understand. Thanks for watching. It is presented by Ravian, Assistant Professor, Department of Veg Studies, BGSIMS, Chikbillapur. Thank you all. Jai Shri Gurudev.